Namaste, welcome to Arthneeti, where we discuss money and money related tools to help you in your everyday investing decisions. I am Dr. Shifalika Gokhale. I hold a PhD in business practices of mutual fund houses. These videos are part of the investor awareness initiative of Samyak FinServe. Now, in today's era, technology drives economic development. Semiconductor chip manufacturing is crucial for the economic development of any country. Understanding the importance of this sector, the government of India embarked on an ambitious journey to make India the chip manufacturing hub of the world. Why are semiconductor chips so important? Well, take any appliances that we use in our day to day lives: smartphones, laptops, iPads, notepads, washing machines, dishwashers, smart TVs, our vehicles, medical equipments, AI languages like ChatGPT and Gemini. What is one thing in common in all of them? Well, a semiconductor chip is present in all these appliances. There is a famous quote: semiconductor is the brain in the head, software is the wisdom, and data is the knowledge. So, a very, very crucial part of how these appliances, these equipments respond to the commands that we give them is based on the semiconductor chip present in them. That is why it is very important in today's world. In this commentary, we will discuss what lessons India can learn from South Korea, who is the world leader in chip manufacturing. Then we'll go on to discuss the strategic moves by the government of India, opportunities and challenges companies can face in this sector in India, and lastly, as usual, what is the impact of all this commentary on investors? How does this sector fare from investing point of view? We hope to add crucial insights so that you can judge whether this sector is an investment option profitable enough or not. So join me when we discuss all these things. India imports almost all its semiconductor needs. It sources these chips from countries like China, South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, to name a few. Now, during the COVID 19 period, when most countries in the world had imposed restrictions and lockdowns not only on the chip manufacturing plants but industry in general, a huge shortfall of semiconductor chips was experienced by manufacturing sector in the country. That resulted in a huge backlog of orders which this sector had to fulfill. Now, after the manufacturing began, a huge demand also was seen, which led to an artificial famine like situation. Now, when we are so heavily dependent on other countries for such a crucial component, we expose ourselves to supply chain vulnerabilities and strategic dependencies. That is the reason why government of India undertook this plan to make India the chip manufacturing hub, not only for use within the country but to the world. The aim of government's policy was to reduce import dependencies on other countries for such a critical technology, boost economic growth by creating jobs and boosting ancillary industries related to chip manufacturing sector, and strategic security to ensure that this critical infrastructural component was domestically available for the manufacturing sector in the country. If India wants to make the dream of becoming the chip manufacturing hub to the world into reality, it can learn a lot from South Korea, which has dominance in this space. The leadership that South Korea enjoys in the chip manufacturing space is not accidental. It is a result of strong government policies and subsidies, focus on education and training in required fields for the required manpower. Also, heavy investment was done in research and development. Tie ups were done with global tech giants. The result of all this, was the emergence of behemoths like Samsung and SK Hynix, who are now an integral part of the global semiconductor chip market. If India want to turn its dream of becoming the chip manufacturing hub to the world into reality, it needs to replicate the policies of South Korea. It needs a multi-pronged strategy. Firstly, let us discuss what incentives and subsidies the government has introduced. When the government announced its focus on chip manufacturing in 2021, it allocated a sum of 76,000 crore rupees for setting up a semiconductor ecosystem in the country. In February 2024, a scheme for promotion of manufacturing of electronic components and semiconductors was also set up. Again, government has introduced design linked incentive schemes in this sector as well. State of the art infrastructure is the backbone of the chip manufacturing industry. India faces several challenges. It is not as cost effective as its neighboring countries. Also, it does not have the first mover advantage. To set up a chip fabrication facility in India requires a huge amount of investment, which can prove as a hurdle for many Indian companies. Again, to manufacture even a single chip, it requires hundreds of gallons of pure water, which can be a problem in India. Thirdly, chip manufacturing facility requires uninterrupted power supply. Again, a hurdle or a challenge that India faces. Now, the government needs to take bold and big steps to overcome these challenges and to make these infrastructure, basic public infrastructure, available so that these industries are set up within the country. Next, the focus of government of India needs to be on skill development, which is investing in education and training programs specific to the needs of the semiconductor industry. According to a survey conducted by the Indian Semiconductor Association, only 2% of engineers that graduate in India are employable in the semiconductor industry. What this highlights is a need for more training and skilling programs to be undertaken in India. Now, how will the demand and the gap, paucity of required human resource, be met? It can be done through industry academia collaborations, curriculum and training programs in academic institutions aligned with specific industry needs so that these gaps are skilled. Also, industries can take up uh, upskilling and reskilling of its employees to meet the new changed demands of the job. The focus of the government policies need not only be on manufacturing but also in the research and development space. Encouraging global tech giants to set research and development facilities in the country is one way. Big global players like Intel, Texas Instruments, AMD, Nvidia, Qualcomm have design and research and development centers set up in the country. Well, AMD has lately inaugurated one of its largest global design centers in Bangalore. So, in this space, the policies and their effects are positively being noticed. Let us now look at some of the companies foraying in this space. Vedanta-Foxconn announced an investment of $19.5 billion dollars in a chip manufacturing facility, which was initially to be set up in Pune in Maharashtra, but later on shifted to Gujarat. Tata Group, in partnership with PSMC of Taiwan, has set up a $11 billion fabrication facility in Gujarat, which has a capacity to fabricate nearly 48 million chips per day. Murugappa Group's CG Power has partnered with Renaissance Electronics America Limited to set up a outsourced semiconductor assembling and testing facility in Gujarat. These are some of the key players who have forayed into this space. Like the many companies that we spoke about, Tata, Vedanta Foxconn, CG Power, several ancillary like supportive industries are set to be benefited by the semiconductor policies implemented by the government. Specialized chemicals and equipments are necessary for the semiconductor industry. Now, chemicals such as photoresists, which are essential for photolithography process in the chip manufacturing, etching gases used to carve out intricate patterns on the silicon wafers, CMP slurries used for polishing materials for smooth wafer surfaces. These are some specialized chemicals, and companies working in this space are also going to be benefited from the semiconductor policies in place, right? Specialized equipment such as lithography machines, now these are very important for precise etching of the circuit patterns on the silicon wafers. Next is etching equipments for detailed and accurate material removal from these wafers. And lastly, CVD systems used for adding thin layers of material on the wafers. Now, these are some specialized equipments and chemicals which will be needed, which will be in demand as and when more and more companies start entering into the semiconductor manufacturing space. So, look out for companies, even though they are from the small and mid cap sector, look out for companies that deal in this sector if you are if you have a positive outlook about the semiconductor space. See, and the renowned investors like Vijay Kedia often say that it is important that you gauge small and mid cap companies at an early stage and invest in them from a long term point of view. Why? Because the chances of getting higher returns is way higher when you invest in small and mid cap space when they are at a nascent stage. So it is very, very important to look out for such cues, to look out for companies in this space. Infrastructure is the backbone of semiconductor industry. Now the government needs to take up various steps to ensure that a strong infrastructure is in place. Fabrication plants, the chip fabrication plants need uninterrupted power supply. So that is an issue where government needs to work. Also, chip manufacturing is a water intensive process, so availability of water in abundance is also an area where government needs to take right steps. Thirdly, efficient transport network. Why? For movement of specialty machinery, chemicals, goods is needed to be in place. Thankfully, the government is making huge developments in this space. Last but not the least, advanced communication networks, which are essential for modern manufacturing and research and development. So these are some infrastructural areas where government needs to focus and make available all the necessary infrastructure if it wants the semiconductor manufacturing industry to develop in the country. Next, let us look at risks involved. While this sector looks promising, there are certain risks involved, like high capital investment. Now, building and maintaining a chip manufacturing facility involves huge capital outlays. Secondly, technological challenges. Why? Because keeping pace with the fast changing and rapid advancements in the semiconductor technology is also crucial and possesses a risk up to a certain level. Thirdly, geopolitical factors. Now, trade tensions and policy changes between countries could impact supply chains for materials that need to be imported from outside the country. These are some of the risks which cannot be discounted, which cannot be ignored. Now, coming to the most important part of this commentary, investor insights. What should investors learn from all this, and where should their investment focus be targeted at? See, for investors, understanding the ecosystem and the players in it is very crucial. It is important to learn about companies and industries which are poised to benefit from the semiconductor boom. If you take companies in the tech and electronic space, companies like Tata Elxsi and Infosys are involved in semiconductor design and software solutions. For specialty chemicals and material suppliers, companies like BASF and Solvay India provide essential chemicals to the chip manufacturing companies. Logistics, specialized logistical services are needed for this industry. So, companies like DHL and Blue Dart offer these specialized logistical services. Again, these companies and the names that I just took are not investment advice. They are an area where investors should focus their attention and educate themselves about these companies and how they are set to benefit from the semiconductor boom in the country. Uh, uh, the aim of this video is not for like to give you any investment guidance, but for purely from educational point of view, how you should approach your investing decisions. Correct. Now, if you like investors, if they are able to gauge particular industries and companies in this space early on, they can yield substantial returns as semiconductor industry matures in India. India's tirest with the semiconductors is set to redefine the technological landscape in the country by learning from global players like South Korea and putting a strong infrastructural strategies in place. India can become a significant player in the semiconductor sector. For investors, this presents a golden opportunity to participate in the growth of an industry that is pivotal to the future of technology. I hope you have liked this commentary of mine. Please feel free to ask questions below this video about this video, and I will be happy to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more such informational videos. Until next time, stay safe. Goodbye.